I'm Jordan Jimmy Curio,
John Pugno.
and this is the Excel Your Rate podcast. So this is the first episode. We're just going to talk about, first we'll go to what Excel Your Rate is and kind of like what our heart is. So I'll start and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Great.
So definitely like we have very similar hearts with it, but for sure it's going to be a little different. For me, honestly, it's want to be able to share honest stories, whether it's, John and I or other people, honest stories that can help people practically see how they can go from where they currently are to a better position in their life. That people would know that they're not stuck where they are, they don't have to stay there, but literally by just changing a few things in your life, you can see a lot of growth. So yeah, that's I'd say one of the biggest parts of my heart with it.
Cool. For me, I mean, one of the biggest things I've had in my life that's helped me through the years, especially the last 5 years, has been mentorship. And Gary has been just amazing. I have actually 2 or 3 really strong mentors in my life, and so I want to pass that on and work with other people to help mentor them, because I've learned that wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes, from taking advice, from receiving, and not thinking that I already know, because I don't. I know some stuff, and usually they're things that I've learned through experience. So as I've grown and as I've gone through so many ups and downs in business and in my personal life, I want to take the lessons that I've learned, especially in the really tough times, in those difficult moments when it looked like everything was crashing down around me. If I look back on my life, those were the moments that I learned the most, and God used those to really move me in a different direction that I had no idea even existed. And if I look back, I had ideas, I had visions, I had dreams for my life, where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. But God would shift and send me in a different trajectory, and it was always better than the vision or the dream I had for myself. Now, getting there it was a challenge, it was a grind. I wouldn't have chosen to go through those difficult moments if it was up to me, but it wasn't up to me. And so it was more submitting, learning the lesson. A big part of it has been learning those lessons, not going through the same cycles over, the same patterns over and over, maybe 10 times instead of 20 times, so or 5 instead of 10. So if what we're doing here can help other people not have to make those or learn those lessons the hard way, if they can learn those from us or from this conversation, they will learn their own lessons. But if we can give them acceleration, right, a boost up, and help them move faster in their path, that's really my goal, is to help other people move faster towards where they need to be, aligning with God's will and having an impact on the world as much as they can.
It's fantastic. All right, so I thought it would be fun if we do, you introduce me, I introduce you. Yeah. Instead of like the, hey, here's who I am. So I'll introduce you and then you can introduce me.
Perfect.
Kind of fun.
I like that idea.
So who is John Pugno? That's the question. Oh man. I mean, to make a very long story short, I mean, pretty much you helped excel in my life, business, and a lot of things that I was not sure what I was wanting to do with my life or what I wanted to do with business, but you kind of came and softly, and we'll definitely have more conversations about that, but in a soft way gave me really great mentorship and guidance that brought me genuinely from where I was to where I am now, which is really cool. So you run a roofing business. You have an incredible family that you love very well. You are very intentional with people, to love them well, to be present with them and for them, and you help people be seen and known very well. So I'd say that's who you are from my perspective.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah,
that's getting emotional.
Get some tissues.
So Jordan, who is Jordan DiMercurio? DiMercurio. Did I say it right? Pugno.
You said it in a very Italian way.
We got a couple Italians here, don't we? Yeah. Yes, I had to say it the Italian way. So Pugno, no, Pugno.
No Pugno, no.
So this guy, I've known you probably going on 5-6 years, I guess, 2020 maybe, around that time.
At least.
Maybe, yeah, more than that actually. Yeah. I remember you running around a little kid. So homeschooling community. To make, again, a long story short, I'd always noticed there's something different about Jordan, and you never know. You see somebody always happy, and I was that kid, and I think people were skeptical of me too when I was a kid, but I was genuinely just happy. It was part of, I think I got that from my parents, from mom, but that was just how I was wired in a certain way. And I think you're the same way. So I saw that in you. And then I heard, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we were having lunch, and I had heard that you were doing some window washing and maybe interested in starting a business. So we got to sit down at the lunch table there at Juniper, and I happened to be subbing or helping with the teaching that day. And then we just had like a really organic conversation about business, and I saw that he was actually serious about it. It wasn't just a thought or a side thing. It was like, no, this guy was ready to go. You were 17 at the time? Maybe 16?
No, it would have been 16, yeah.
So 16 at the time, I'm like, man, that's really cool. So the thing that hits me the most or really impacted me and impressed me was I remember telling him specific things. Well, you should do this and do that. And I've had those conversations numerous times with young entrepreneurs or people I was mentoring. And the chances, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, the chances that this will actually happen are slim, but it's worth a shot. And I think it was maybe 2 weeks later, we had another conversation, and he had actually taken like all of those things or most of what I had said and done it. And then that was kind of the pattern moving forward. It was, hey, did you think about this? What do you think about this? What about your CRM? Do you have a CRM? No, what's that? Well, it's this. The next week, he's already vetted out 3 or 4 CRMs. 2 weeks later, he's already picked one. So it's been a process of really not only me, let's say, giving advice just based on my experience, but him taking it, but also I'm now learning from him. So it becomes a mutual thing. So Jordan, I appreciate you. I appreciate your spirit, and then also challenging me. Like I've heard it said in the past that the greatest thing for a teacher is when the student becomes the teacher. And so for me, that's where I feel in a lot of ways, even spiritually, you push me to not sit back, to not be static. So you're that person that's always going to push someone to be better because you push yourself in that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, I'm going to need tissues too. That was really, really kind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah, it's so cool, like seeing kind of where we were years ago. I remember just hanging out with Gigi, your daughter, a lot, and then like here we are. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it happens fast.
Oh, that's insane.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing. So awesome. So that's what Accelerate is. That's who we are. So now I'll ask a question. So let's go back to then. Let's go back from where we first were to where we are now. So let's say 2020. What got us from where we were in 2020 to where we are now in 2025? That'll be the question that we'll hit. Okay, so we'll go back 5 years. The question would be like, I know, right? Like, what happened? What would you say brought you from where you were 5 years ago to now? And you can go wherever you want with that, with business, with spiritually, with yourself, mentally, like any of those things. What would you say?
Man, this last 5 years has been the most, I'd say, transformative, difficult, challenging years potentially of my life. I mean, 2020, I think we all went through our own individual crisis along with the collective crisis that took place in so many different levels. And I mean, we could get lost in that alone forever. So, but for me personally, I had just come off of working with my brother-in-law in the construction world for 5 years and learning and just having an amazing experience of growth and helping that business grow to a point where it's now become very successful, but also realizing my brother-in-law, although I love him to death, I love you, Ron, I think we weren't meant to go further than that, to put it bluntly. Sure. And God made sure that happened, and we parted ways amicably, and but that forced me into a situation where I didn't have a job, and that was January of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And so we all know what happened starting February, and then by March, everything is full tilt. Yeah. And through a very miraculous series of events, I ended up in Ohio visiting some friends, kind of going through the search and, Lord, what am I going to do? And against all, I would say, common sense, I decided to take a trip down to Ohio and just unplug a bit, visit these friends. And they had started a Bible study, and I wanted to just see what was going on. There was significant spiritual things happening in the midst of the whole COVID, and I just felt like God was saying, that's where you have to go. And so I did, and my wife supported me. It was a difficult decision because I needed a job, and we needed, I didn't have a huge nest egg built up, so it was like, man, it was getting tense, to say the least. We knew COVID was it was the middle of March, so it was right when the shutdown started.
Yeah.
So it's like shutdown's on, people aren't hiring, money's tight, I don't have a job, but I felt really that I needed to be there. So I went down, and within 24 hours of going down there, I was offered a job, and obviously took it through the person that was running the Bible study, Israel Norcom. And man, it was just an incredible, that started my career in roofing. And that was, March of 2020. And I spent 18 months driving back and forth from Detroit area, Rochester, down to Sugar Creek area, Ohio, 4.5 hours. I'd stay for 4 or 5 days and work, and then come back here on the weekends to be with the family.
Wow.
So for me, it was, on one hand, just an amazing period of growth, of learning. I got an awesome education in the roofing industry from Israel, but it was very difficult not being with the family. The children were in that time of life that was very fundamental for them, so not being with them during that time was a huge. I remember literally weeping on the way down to Ohio, just realizing like, man, I'm going to miss 5 days and over again the next week and the next week and the next week. So that was probably one of the most difficult periods of my life. And then once that 18 months was over, came back here and started working again in the roofing space in Michigan. And then it's just been growth and learning and moving and shaking and not getting stuck. And eventually last year I had the opportunity to launch Asbury Roofing and Solar here in Michigan, which is a branch from a company in Ohio. So for me personally, it's been super transformative. Also spiritually, God was dealing with me on certain things that I had been struggling with for years, some addictions, just long-standing, I would call them idols, issues that I had that I wasn't willing to face, or was pretending didn't exist, or was really justifying. Like, it's so easy sometimes to just fall into, it's not a big deal. And no, that it was a big deal, and it was painful, but super necessary. And just the way that God was patient with me through my stubbornness and just wanting to hold on to those idols, those addictions, but allowing me to work through it. My wife also was very patient with me, but God took those things, and it's just been amazing to see, like, once those things, those idols, those addictions were out of the way, everything is moving so much faster, and I feel clear-headed and just way better. So being able to now really think about, okay, how can I actually help other people, not just say it, not just talk it, but actually do it. So yeah, it's been quite a 5-year stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With idols, I think that's incredible. Like, how are you able to see those idols in your life? What helped you be able to see those first at that point? What opened your eyes to that?
That's a great question. I think I knew it for a long time leading up to that they were a problem, that they were idols and addictions. I would call them maybe more addictions later. I realized they were just idols. They're things I was idolizing that were taking the place of God in my heart, in my actions and time and whatever. And I think that's a lifelong struggle, if we're honest. But what helped me see it? There was prayer, there was other people, life circumstances. I found, like, when life gets really rough and things aren't going well, then that forces us to kind of look in the mirror. So there was kind of a conjunction of all of those things happening, where God was like, no, this has to be dealt with. And part of it was also seeing it in other people. I was in my mid-40s, early 40s, mid-40s, now moving towards late 40s, and I didn't want to be that person that was still addicted, was still doing those same things when I was 60, 70, 80, to the time if I was to live that long. I saw that around, and it was like, man, is that going to be me? And then I realized, I think God showed me, like, man, if you don't let go of this stuff now, you're never going to let go of it. Like, it was, and that was maybe the final piece that really hit me. Like, this is the time. Like, I can't play this game anymore. I can't justify it anymore. And it could be anything, right? It could be shopping. It could be, a lot of times it's substances. It could be sports, entertainment. There's, you fill in the blank. I think the Bible clearly shows us, especially like you see in the Old Testament, Israel was just constantly struggling with idols and complaining, like those two things.
Yeah.
Covetousness because of the complaining, which leads to idols. And I don't think much has changed. I think we're still like in that same situation where it's like the human condition is to create idols, to put things in the place of God. So that's a long answer, but I think it was just a number of things where ultimately I realized it was time to deal with some things that I had been justifying and holding on to that really weren't serving me either. That was another part of me. There were certain things, maybe there were some additional aspects, but it wasn't serving anymore.
So it's like you went through, I'm almost thinking about it this way, you've outside of your life, outside of your control, then in your life, in your control. A lot of things out here started to go pretty haywire because COVID and stuff. And that showed the inner heart problems that were there. So now you were like, wow, I actually want to change these things. It's kind of like busyness stopped probably, right? Like you didn't have, you weren't constantly busy with all this stuff, and it was like, whoa, what and where, is my heart?
A lot of alone time, driving back and forth, a lot of contemplation. Dealing with the fact that I had to be away from my family 4 or 5 days every week for a year and a half. That was sobering, literally. Like that was a big part of it too.
Yeah.
How did I get in that position?
What helped me get from where I was? Well, first, kind of saying what we were saying about with you, it's like there were so many things outside of my control that changed. Like my parents separated. And I think, obviously we had COVID. COVID was a big wake-up call. But I still don't think that really did it for me. I still found things to keep me always busy and distracted. I'll use the word distracted. So when my parents separated, it was this massive realization of, oh my goodness, I'm not actually living the life that I really would like to live. And there's so many problems in my heart and things that I'm doing that, like kind of what you were saying, I just let them slide because I was too busy to actually approach them. And there were other things that took my attention. So now it was like, oh my goodness, like, wow, my parents are separated. Everything seemed fine and easy. Now nothing is easy. I had never really been real with myself emotionally of where I was, or I never really could cry. Like I never let any of those things happen. I didn't realize how broken our family really was. So it was like all the stuff out of my control, just like what in the world? It felt like everything just fell apart. And I think I got to a point where I used this analogy because it helped me understand where I was at. Imagine if you're at a mountain, it's like one side, let's say the right side of the mountain, I was right at the tip, is where I was. If I went toward the right side, then that was fully pursuing God, and that was all I was doing. And if I went to the left side, it was fully pursuing what I wanted. And I knew at that moment, like I could not be in the middle. There literally was no. It was, it was literally, I'm either going to pursue God, and it's going to become super real for me, or he's not going to. And I'm just going to do what I feel like doing.
Wow.
And I was like, there's no in between. Because I tried to live that way for so long, and I saw where it got me. It was like, I'd rather rebel and be fully all in on it, or not rebel and just pursue God and be fully all in on that. I was like, I don't want to be this weird in between place. So
lukewarm.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think that was a big part of where I was. Definitely. So that's where I was. Then what helped me get from there to here? Man, I mean, as we keep doing this podcast, people are going to find out more and more. You're going to learn more about our stories, and you're going to see where the blanks are filled in. But I think just to give a simple, straightforward, I think just like learning to return to God at each moment.
Oh, that's huge.
When things are good, when things are bad, when things are how you want them to, when things are not, like just learning to return to Him, to have Him as the one that I'm living for and living with. Like I think that's everything, because like the decision to get actual help for myself that I needed, like having mentors or getting therapy, that all came from a place of, okay, I need to pursue God, and this and this are distracting me from that. So I need to work on these things. Therefore, to work on these, I need to bring other people into the situation. So it's like that was my heart, and I think out of that place came all the different growth that needed to happen. But at first it was like, life is crazy. I have no control over anything. what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to pursue God. Okay, what does that look like? Let's go. I think honestly that, and it's,
Wow.
I think a big testament to this, and especially with, if you want to like excel your rate of where you're at currently in life, ask God for trials.
Right.
like when things went really crazy for both of us, that's when we grew the most.
That's a tough prayer, though.
It's a really, no, exactly. Like you got to know what you're signing up for. You can't know what you're signing up for.
Or pray for patience and then see what happens. Ooh, look out.
But like for us, like the only way I think that God really was able to grow in us the way he did was having these really, really rough trials and things happening, to us and around us. Like, I don't think it can be this, like, here's a 5-step process. You do this, this, and this, and you're going to grow a lot. It's like, you're going to go through hardships as we all do in life. And it's what you do with those, and what you choose to love during that time that forms your heart and your soul. So like you chose to love God and love the truth. Like, sounds like that was a big thing. You weren't going to dwell in the lie or what you thought or assume, like whatever. It was like, here's the truth. I'm going to love God. I'm going to love the truth and love that fully, whatever that looks like. And then it was like, I'm going to love God and pursue him, whatever that looks like. And then out of that comes that growth.
So how would you, what would you say to someone who's sitting at the top of that mountain that you described, looking down to the two sides, and that is leaning towards maybe self-fulfillment? The world, we also see that, what would you say to that person?
Don't become a Christian, or don't become a Christian or join a religion because someone else told you or because it sounds good. Know for yourself and look into that belief and know everything about it that you can, and from that place make it your own. The only way of living that I have found that actually fulfills and actually gives purpose and actually is worth living is a life lived for God and for Christ. But don't just become a Christian, and have the I'm a Christian bumper sticker just because we're telling you it's the best way to live.
Or because your parents told you,
or because your parents told you. Like, you have to make it your own. Like, I'd even encourage you, if you're thinking about Catholicism or like other religions, I think there is a lot of actual benefit to looking into those, because you'll ultimately end up at the truth of Christianity actually is the most biblically, historically accurate religion through time, and also not just like the practical side of it, but spiritually it's the only one that actually will give you life and be long-term, like sustainable for your heart and for your soul, and you'll find fulfillment in it. But you have to make it your own, and don't take it serious. Whatever you're choosing to pursue, and ultimately that I would confidently say that like living for God is the only one that I have found, and the only one that I believe is the one that is worth living. But own it.
And there's so many, the world is coming at us from so many different angles constantly, right? With the media and peer pressure for the youth especially, and business and money and having to survive, and fears and just entertainment. And there's just so many angles that it makes it hard to really look. Let's say we're at that mountain peak and we're looking to the worldly let's say fulfilling side of that, and we look at the other side. It's almost like one side is invisible, primarily. The other side, you see all this stuff. How do you deal with that? How do you rectify that? Balance that out to the point where I'm going to choose the invisible side over here.
Yeah.
Despite everything my senses are telling me, everything the world is telling me, everything like my peers are telling me, all the messaging I'm getting through the media channels, through the social media, all of it is just constant. Fulfill the senses, whether it be eating, drugs, drinking, sex, all of it, clothing, experiences, entertainment. And you fill in the blank, right? It's just a constant.
Yeah.
So for me, as a 47-year-old, it's one thing, but my heart goes out to the youth that are just inundated, especially with this technology that I didn't deal with.
Yeah.
And how do you, as a young person, how do you deal with that? That's chosen, let's say, the invisible side, of the mountain.
I think the biggest thing is, do not lean on your own understanding. There's a verse in the Bible what was that? Proverbs 3:5.
Sure,
Trust
yeah.
the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him. I think.
And he shall direct your path, right?
Yes.
This is really cool.
Exactly. And he will direct your path.
Yeah.
You have to not rely on knowledge, because we have so much knowledge on all our devices. It's social media. Like, talking with this guy in South Carolina last week, he was saying that just this year, there's been more content released on the social medias than in the past, he said, 10 years.
Yeah. That's
Like,
wild.
it's just insane. Combined.
It's exponential.
10 years combined.
Yep.
They did more in just this year.
Yeah.
It's like, what in the world? It's insane. So there's so much information out there.
That's
But
right.
I think it's like you have to, how do you choose the invisible path? You know, the path that seems really hard to pursue. You have to let go of what you know, and of trying to know everything, and of only making decisions off what you know and what feels comfortable. And it's just like anything else, like working out. You maybe don't know if you can do one more set. You have no idea, but you just do it. And then you get to the other side of it. Like, maybe even the odds can tell you there's no way you can do the set. You know, you have whatever, like you have this weird physical disease where you get tired quickly. You have asthma. There's no way you can do 2 more sets. But you just try and you see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to try, and if you're going to pursue God and learning about him, and even though he seems unknown and he seems like you can't understand him, it seems like a lot of other options, you could call them, are easier. It's one of those things where if you're going to pursue him and learn more about him, don't be half in, but be fully in. And then you'll see the truth in that. And hey, I mean, even like, let's say you spend, a solid year looking into Christianity, looking into who God is, who he was, meeting with people that, profess to love him and to pursue him, and you watch their lives and you do that. Like, the worst thing that happens is you spent a year learning about one of the most beautiful, historically accurate religions ever. Even if you still decide, I'm going to go pursue a different religion or something else. Like, and even another thought with that too is like, kind of like, why not? I believe as believers, we are not to be lukewarm. We are not to be like kind of half in. But another part of me is like, if it is the truth, if there's a possibility that it is the truth, why not try and try to understand what it could be? Why not? You only live once.
There's a lot at stake, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
It's I think of the verse, faith is the substance, right? Of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So people think about a leap of faith being like blind faith. I don't see it like that. I think we take the leap of faith knowing that there's something on the other side.
Yeah.
Not in that hope is not a hope like I think we use hope differently in this world. Like, I hope I get the grade. I hope I make the sale. I hope. It's almost like you almost don't want to hear that statement from people. Like in business, when someone says I hope, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So in our faith, like the hope, it's the substance of things hoped for. So it actually already has something solid, tangible that we can hold, feel, sense, and then it's the evidence, and then we have evidence of something invisible and unseen. So I think in my life, like if I look back, hindsight's 2020. I see God's hand in my life from from my earliest memories all the way to the present moment, over and over and over. I would be a fool to say like God doesn't exist, because I have so much evidence. I've been through so many situations where I should have died. I should have gone off the deep end. I should not be sitting right here in this seat having this conversation where I am right now, from all logical, rational standpoints. So I can see it, but that, I can see my own life and everything I've been through that lens of, man, I have a superabundance of evidence. So I don't have any excuses. Maybe there's people out there that have so many struggles and so that maybe they feel the opposite. Maybe they feel like I have no evidence that God exists. Well, my heart goes out for that person. And I'd also challenge that person, like, really look deeper. Because I guarantee you can look somewhere on this earth and see someone who has it much worse. And maybe you can also, if you look a little deeper, maybe some goal will start to show through because God's hand is there.
Wow. That's really good. That's really good. Wow. So with all that, and we talked, it was awesome. Like we were able to talk about the stories and kind of what God has done in our lives. What would you say would be like, let's just say one application each, like one for you, one for me, of something that you would have given, like maybe a word or a piece of advice to yourself 5 years ago that you think could have excelled your progress to get to where you are now? If there's a piece of advice or a practice or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. I know you and I have talked a bit about the practice of daily prayer, and it's something that's been on and off in my life. You know, I find it's much easier to pray when the stakes are down, when I need help.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of it too, is establishing the habit of daily prayer. And for me, I think I got away with it in my own mind. I justify, well, I'm on the road driving, I'm walking down the street praying, I'm going to this, I'm asking God, there is a sense of, like, I am praying throughout the day.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference in my mind between that type of prayer, like maybe active while you're doing other things sort of prayer, while I'm driving. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's certainly helpful and real and genuine, but I've learned that there's a difference between that type of prayer and actually taking time by myself. They call it in the prayer closet, right? Like going and spending that time daily. And that's something I had, like, to answer the question specifically, I would have told myself 5-10 years ago, get into the habit of doing that, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, whatever it is. Wow. Start somewhere and establish that habit of taking that dedicated time and doing it every single day. So that's where I've been working on that this year, on and off. I know you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
I know it's a habit that you hold to, and so that's my goal, is to really. I did a 10-minute streak for I think 63 days because I like that there's a rhythm to get the habit, but I still find it falling on and off. So I'd like to really take maybe this next week and say, all right, between now, today's Saturday, and next Saturday, I want to take 15 minutes every morning. And the other thing is doing it in the morning, because I realized if I put it off, it's so hard to then, during the day, it's impossible. There's just too much going on. And then by night, I'm tired. I go to sit down, and then I find myself just falling asleep.
Yeah.
So no, it has to be. So the goal is, my challenge to myself is 15 minutes first thing in the morning upon waking for the next week.
Fantastic. So something you tell yourself would be, have more intentional prayer life.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Daily, have that daily habit of concentrated, dedicated prayer time, whatever the time is, but have that become part of my DNA, let's say, part of my essence. That's all. The day doesn't start until that happens.
That's so good. I think you don't know what's around you until you stop and take a look.
That's right.
I think if there's anything I could have told myself then, was like, a lot of things, but I think it all really would have came from a place, any advice I could give would come from a place of slow down and be present.
That's good.
Because out of that place is where I would have been able to see, here are the things spiritually I need to work on, here are the things, business-wise I need to work. Like, all the things come from slowing down and just seeing the truth. So I'd say slowing down, having that time in prayer, because prayer, it causes you to slow down and have to look at something bigger than yourself.
It does. That's right.
It's a sacrifice to pray, because you're sacrificing the productive work you could accomplish.
Or it's an offering.
Right. That's awesome. It's an offering, exactly. Because there's no ROI.
The sacrifice becomes an offering.
Wow.
Would you say there's no ROI next to it, right?
Yeah, and there.
That's but then that becomes an offering.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And there is it's like this funny thing where God is like, He calls us to lay down our lives and to set aside pursuing, comfort and stuff, and and it is a hard life that we do live. But I do want to say it's the most fulfilling. by you slowing down and praying, like it's actually scientifically proven that people that meditate have a lot more productive moments than people that are working 7 days a week. Like people that literally, like, they did the math, they did this big study, and it was literally people that took the extra day at least off. Their productivity level shot up like 40 to I think 70%. It was insane.
Almost like it was God's design.
What? So I'd say
it works. That's a whole nother topic for Accelerate.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The Sabbath. We'll talk about that one.
Sabbath is
Put that on the list for sure.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I mean, I think slowing down, praying. So
slowing down, that is one of the hardest things to do in our culture. And praying is part of it, but yeah, that's huge.
It's incredible.
How are you going to do that practically, or what is your practical goal for the week?
So we're each going to have a challenge.
Oh, I said mine already.
You already said his. You
jumped
beat
the
me
gun.
We have a challenge that we're going to work on. So every time we do a podcast, we'll do a challenge for that week. So my challenge, there was something he showed me. I'll just have to show.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'll just go back here. So he showed me earlier when we were setting up. So it's like literally you just put one leg up and you close your eyes and just balance. Yeah. So literally I'm going to try that. I'm going to do 2 minutes every day. And you just try to balance.
Sounds easy,
falling.
Right? But definitely harder. You're getting it. 2 minutes. Got to count it out, man.
Let's go. Yeah. So that's going to be my challenge and your challenge. What was your challenge one more time?
The 15 minutes of prayer every morning. Means I got to set my alarm clock and not hit snooze and make sure I'm up in time.
There you go.
Which is great. That's what I need, that challenge.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm excited. Yeah. We're gonna shoot to have challenges every week, so we're gonna grow.
Let's do it.
I'm excited. There's infinite challenges we could do.
There are infinite challenges. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Good. And thank you for setting this up, Jordan. I mean, this is a great opportunity for me to just talk with you and get a little deeper on some of these issues. Seeing, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, Accelerate. Obviously, there's a business aspect. There's a financial aspect to that. But how, like, we spent most of our time talking about the spiritual, and then realizing, like, oh, those, for us, it's connected. Like, you can't silo the spiritual from the physical, from business. It's all together. It's all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, making this happen, and thank you guys for watching this. We'll shoot for now to have them once a month. Then we'll kind of go from there and see if we can do eventually weekly. But if you enjoyed this at all, I mean, we would ask that you would, leave a like if this is a YouTube video, or share the podcast with a friend. If this helped at all, we'd super appreciate that. And then we also have social media. So what we're going to be doing this week is, for those challenges that we just talked about, we're going to be documenting or vlogging it in some way. So maybe you could vlog like your experience after you do it. Hey, here's how I felt. Here's how my day changed. And then you'll just see me literally just doing we'll call it the peacock stance or whatever. I'll be doing that stance, and you guys can see that on Excel. It's Excel Your Rate. That's the name. Yeah, just Excel, EXCELYOUR Rate, and that's where you can find us on social media. So again, thank you so much, John. Thank you for watching, everybody, and hope you guys have a wonderful day.